This craft area will just stay nice and wide and open like that. These sorts of baskets in here that hook into those pegs. I'm not gonna pressure myself to do that part yet. Magical things do happen sometimes, and that's about where I am at today. Because you guys know at this point that symmetry brings me such joy. It's marked down from $75. Are you ready to Nice job. High five. The idea of putting holes in the walls is a little bit painful, so Hi, I'm Brittany. Welcome to the Bees Business, or welcome back if you've been here before. Today's vlog is part of our House to Home series. In this series, my husband Brandon and I take you along as we work on the master suite of our dreams. Over the last 12 to 18 months, we've been steadily working on an addition to our home, the largest addition we have ever done, and I think the largest we will ever do. And one of the spaces that I desperately wanted in this addition was a little craft nook for myself. So here I have an 8x10 room where we are doing exactly that, turning it into a craft room. Brandon has been very helpful and an integral part of this process, helping me assemble shelving, hanging things on the walls, and just generally being supportive. Today you're going to see us working together to make this space what I've always dreamed that it could be. This is going to be part one in a two-part series. In part two, I'll take you along for a tour of the completed craft room space, and I will show you every nook and cranny and every single item that I have in this space. If this is the first episode from our House to Home series that you're tuning in for, you're in for a true treat. I'm so glad you're here. I will link the other videos in this series in the description box for you, as well as in the cards of this video. And if you haven't already, I would love it if you'd subscribe to my channel and join this community that I'm building in my little corner of the internet. If you enjoy this video, give it a like. It really helps out my channel a whole lot. And share it with anyone else that you feel might enjoy it. Now let's get to it. Before we head down the hallway to see the work that Brandon has done on the shelves, I just wanted to give you a quick look at what we've got going on in these IKEA bags. There are a couple of items in there, like this watering can, that are not actually for my craft room space, but the vast majority of it is all for this space. And here's what we're working with so far. So like I said, just about everything, with the exception of those pegboards back there, everything that you see presently in this space is items that I already had. So already had this shelf, undecided if it's staying or not. I think it is, but we'll see. I had these two rolling carts, but I did find another one on a very good clearance deal at Target, $12 down from $40. That one is blue, so I will now have three. One of them may go to my closet. We will see about that as well. Time will tell. But I think that these little rolling shelves are going to come out of here at this point. They served their purpose. At the time that I was using them, they fit really great underneath this table, and this table used to be the only crafting space I had, and all of my items needed to fit underneath. And so that tote that is under there and those little rolling carts all nestled pretty nicely underneath that table, so that when I was done crafting, everything tucked away neatly, and then I had the table space just free and clear, and then I would take everything back out when I wanted to use it. So there are some items that I'm going to probably repurpose in other areas of my home, but they just don't need to be in this craft space any longer. So the general plan so far is the two shelves that Brandon is working on. One is going to go on this side of the table, and one is going to go on this side of the table. They will go pretty close up to the ceiling. I wanted to maximize my vertical space as much as possible. So that's what I'm thinking for next to the table. The table is staying. That table has a lot of sentimental value to me, and so it is not the most practical for crafting by any means, as I'm sure you are thinking or were already thinking, but it has a lot of just lines where things can slip in. This grout is obnoxious to clean, and so you might be wondering why my children are singing downstairs very, very loudly. I'm not sure how much of that you can hear. Hopefully not a ton of it, and they're distracting me. So not the best crafting table, because it's not just a flat, easy to clean surface, but as I mentioned, lots of sentimental value there for me. Okay, we quieted some children, I think, because I really don't know how much you could hear that. I do have my mic on, which is a new mic to me, and I'm loving it. It's the DJI brand. I'll probably talk more about that in a different vlog. But anyway, sentimental value to this table. So the table is staying, even though it's not the most practical, because it brings me immense joy. And above the table, I would like to put these two pegboards. Doesn't really look like it at the moment, I guess, but there are two there, and they are the same size. So I would like to put one here, and then the next one right above it is my current vision. And then I have a lot of different accessories, those baskets there, these sorts of baskets in here that hook into those pegs. I do have one other smaller pegboard that I've had since last year, thinking that this space would be done a little bit sooner than it was. And I think I'm actually going to put that one in my closet to help organize my jewelry. The other thing that I purchased from IKEA that I'm wanting to put in this space is some bars that I bought a bunch of hooks for, so I can use baskets of my own if I wanted to hook them on there, or baskets that come with it. Like this actually isn't for the pegboard, this is for that bar. So I bought two long ones, two shorter ones, and I'm thinking I would like to keep this space pretty symmetrical. So I'm thinking one long and one short somewhere on this wall, and mirror that over here on this wall. I think that that symmetry is going to help the space feel clean, even if I have various projects out and about. This is just a big opening here and is not going to be closed off. It's gonna stay nice and open like this. This will be the start to our master bedroom. And so, or it is the start to our master bedroom, but this is where the door will go for our master suite. And this craft area will just stay nice and wide and open like that. So I think that symmetry will be helpful. So that's what we have going on right now, but otherwise it's just a mess. Stuff is just everywhere. And this stuff ended up getting so dusty. So I've moved the majority of my crafting items over, but there are still several things in this area that really do actually belong in my craft space. So I'm going to need to continue to dust some items and get those over there, but I'm not going to pressure myself to do that part yet. I think I'll get pretty overwhelmed. So I want to take care of what's already in there before I come over and tackle any of this. So that is where we're starting. Now let's go check in on Brandon. It looks like he's making really good progress with the second one already. So like I mentioned, these shelves are from Amazon. This is what it looks like laying on its side, which might make it a little hard to visualize how it's going to look in my craft space, but essentially this portion here is going to get screwed to the wall, and then these legs will be resting on the floor. And the shelves are all open, which is something I really wanted because I don't know exactly what I want to store on them, for baskets or items. If I want baskets, I don't know any of that yet. And the space is also not huge, as you've seen, so I think by having these more open shelves, that's going to allow me to see the paint color or the wall behind it, which will just keep the space feeling bigger than if it were a darker backing. So that's my theory at the moment, and Brandon said that the instructions to put them together were pretty good. There's just a lot of screws. But when I first started filming the intro to this video is when Brandon started putting the second one together, so he's making good progress in not a ton of time. And now, like I mentioned, I'm going to get the things out of these bags and just start setting them in the general location where I feel like I want them. Sort of mapping out the space before we make any actual holes in walls. Where we did just finish this space off ourselves, the idea of putting holes in the walls is a little bit painful, so we want to be really sure that when we put holes in the walls that we are intentional about it, and that is actually where we want the holes to be, so that we are not having to patch holes right after we've made this space. Brandon is getting up a second shelf. The first one is up, and looking gorgeous. I love the way that I can see so much of the wall and the shelving really feels minimal. It is having the exact effect that I was hoping it would and allowing the room to still feel like a great size, even though I have a great amount of storage from these two shelves now. I've got Eli over here putting together my blue cart that I got at Target, marked down from 40 to 12. We got one for my grandmother as well, and he put that one together for her while we were in Florida. So now he's a pro and he's putting mine together for me. I am starting to unbox some of the items that I brought home from IKEA, but wanted to give you a rundown on those items. I did put together an IKEA shop with me. I think that will already be out by the time this one goes out, so you can check that out if you'd like. But if you have not watched that, then I'll give you a quick rundown on a couple of these items. So these are something I got for the kids for their pegboards that they have last year, and I was considering grabbing them for myself. This is them. There's this little metal top and the whole bucket slides out, which I think is a really neat feature. This will clip onto the pegboard. They can all go right next to each other, and then they end up creating like a little shelf effect, or they can go one on top of each other and just anywhere really. So I was considering getting them, but not totally sold on getting them, and then I found them in the as-is section, marked down from $11 to $7.70, and decided that they were necessary and that felt serendipitous. So grabbed some of those, and then I'm going to show you some of the other items that I've grabbed as well for this space. My camera is just, it's dead. Vacationed too hard and now it's dead. So we have transferred over to my phone to continue filming because the show must go on. And since I'm filming on my phone now, I can zoom out even further and look at that beautiful shot. Those two shelves are now up and Brandon is going to start working on my two pegboards. I am an excited lady. I am in love with those shelves. I love their height, the space that they are taking up. And we did darn good because we were not home to be able to measure when I decided to buy these. I bought them in Florida and had them delivered home the day before we got home. So we did darn good. I mean, Brandon did build this space, so he has some solid knowledge of the dimensions.
How high the ceiling is.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. Because Brandon built the space, we were pretty familiar with overall dimensions, but what we didn't know while we were in Florida was the width of the table and how each shelf would look alongside the table. But oh my gosh, I love that. I love the way it looks. So pegboards are coming out, and I'm going to show you a few more of the items that I got at IKEA. I am just turning this into a trash box because and Holly's here joining us, being a super helpful pup. So this is just trash. So I have taken these out of their packaging so far. These are just little metal containers that are going to go onto the pegboard. I have 4 total. I tried to get even numbers of items so that I can keep symmetry the same even on the pegboards if I want to. I'm not going to pressure myself to do that, but just wanted the option to exist. So that is a pack of 3, and I did only get 3 of those, so that's an exception. This is a piece that I feel like I may actually put in my closet with that pegboard, because this just hooks into the pegboard and then has a ton of different little hooks, and I feel like this could be great for necklaces and bracelets and things like that. So this might serve me better in my closet space than here in my craft space. And so I only grabbed one of those because I had that thought even when I was there. We're gonna move my adorable IKEA basket. These are just some little peg-like pins. I'll be sure to show them to you when I open them, but they also go on there. This allegedly allows 2 pegboards to be connected together. So I got 2 sets of these, not knowing if I was going to want to connect all 3 pegboards or just these 2 that I've got in here. So we'll see how that works out. I'm very excited about these little trays that I got for the pegboards. So I got 2 of those. Got a whole bunch of these little, what is it? Not Bright Ideas, but Bright Room. A whole bunch of these little Bright Room baskets from Target while I was in Florida. They were on clearance, so I just grabbed up a whole heap ton of them. I think there are 20 there, I think I got 10 sets, and there's 2 in a set. These are some hooks for the pegboards, just so I could hang whatever off of them, whether it be crafting tools or such. And then kind of along that same thought process, I decided to grab these. There's another set there, but so I have 6 total of these little bungee cords that hook into the pegboards, and I saw a display that had some tools that were bungee corded to the pegboard, and I thought, well, that could be really helpful for some of my craft tools. I do have a heat gun to help me dry anything that I've painted a little bit faster, so that was something I had in mind when I grabbed these. And just not knowing like what other tools I had in storage, because it's been so long since I've gotten to have my craft stuff out, I grabbed 2 sets, so I have 6 total. Okay, that's almost everything for the pegboards last year. So these guys I got last year, and they've been sitting around for a year now waiting for their moment in the spotlight. But it's a little set of 3 baskets. You can see the other 2 down in there. They all individually hook onto the pegboards, and I did get 2 of these sets, so I knew I had these at home. I did see them again while I was there, but knowing that I had them at home, I didn't opt to grab another set because I did not need to. So I have 2 of those, and I think that is everything for the pegboards. And then here are 2 of the rods. The longer ones are still downstairs in the U-Haul that we towed along with us, but these ones are 60 centimeters or 23.5 inches, and the other ones are longer. So these are very simple little, what did I call these? Rods, I guess. And I don't know exactly where I want to put them on the wall, but something like this, probably with the larger one either above or below it. And then I'll have, or next to it, or something of that sort. And then I have quite a few hooks and things for them. So there are 4 of these bars that exist. Let me move these so we can get to the items that attach to those. Oh, these are also for the pegboards, and they just make a really nice big hook if you had a large something that you wanted to put in them. So I grabbed 2 of those as well. Okay, but back to the rods. I got 3-4 packs of these hooks that go on there, and there are 5 or 6. 5. There are 5 hooks in each. I also got these little cloth bags that snap, so I can unsnap them here, put them over the rod, and then they can just hang on the rod. They look really nice with the black. That's not the rod, but that's the same black. So they look really nice with the black. Got 2 of these baskets that can hang on those rods, as well as 2 that are almost the same, just smaller. That's what those ones look like, and they're round, and there are more of the clips down in there. And then that's all I got for those rods, because I figured with the hooks I would be able to hang all sorts of baskets that I already have from them, or baskets that I could purchase elsewhere that are just not as expensive. So that's the plan for these, and what my vision is for those rods. And I think that's just about everything. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but if I come across it, I'll let you know. The pegboards are making their way out. Eli's making some solid progress over there. How's it going?
Good.
And so we're going to be hanging these pegboards. I don't think, maybe side by side if they fit. They might, actually. They might fit side by side. If not side by side. Yeah, if not side by side, then... Oh, no, they have to go one on top of each other because of the way that those items hook into them. Okay, yep. So they can't go side by side. They have to go one on top of each other, which is fine. That will leave a little bit of wall space next to the shelves and before the pegboards start. And that will look nice because I don't want the space to look like it is drowning in stuff on the walls, but ultimately it is a craft space, so I do want to make it as functional as possible. But this is like the feature wall, if you will, and then we'll just have those bars on these 2 side walls only. And that will be it for putting things on the wall, I think. But this is going to give me so much more storage than I've ever had, so I think it should be sufficient.
Some people cruise, some people try to get tired. If you don't have a reason, it's hard to
Ta-da! Eli has assembled this cart for me. Thank you, sir. Look at that. Nice job. High five. Oh, yeah. Now, can you go to the U-Haul? And there are some longer ones of these that are still in there.
They're over.
Okay.
They're like
Mama, my ball's
between
on
the
this. I tried to
left
catch it.
wall and your bike.
Put
I
it
think.
even down the hill.
Oh
Kinda
my
near where the
gosh.
Legos were.
I got love.
I have decided on a pattern for these. So I'm gonna have the large one on top and I'm gonna line it up with this second from top shelf. And it's gonna be pretty close. It comes off a little bit from the wall, which you'll see once its hooks are there, but it's gonna go like that. And then the smaller one is gonna be offset and lined up with this next shelf down over here. So the longer one would go like here-ish and the shorter one there-ish. I can't really show you any better than that yet because I'm one-handed while filming, but Brandon is actively going to hang them right now, so you're about to see anyway. As if things were not magical enough with the additions that have gone in here so far today, but these baskets that I purchased, or these little bright room buckets, look at this. 4 of them fit perfectly on this shelf. I did not measure that. That is just a pure happy coincidence, and it is making my pattern loving heart so pleased. So this is how I chose to hang these bars on this side, mimicking set over here. Oh my gosh, there's trash and stuff everywhere, but I am an excited girl because that level of storage of different items is so much. And I still get to put things in the baskets and put things on the pegboard. Oh, I'm in my height of glory. Organizing my craft things. 2 things that I love, organizing and crafts. I'm a happy, happy girl. This is like better than Christmas for me. And did good and now he's pooped. So let's just, in case you've noticed this guy mean mugging it in this video, let's just talk a little about why he's mean mugging it. Okay, you have a little bit of RBF, even if you're not trying to. No, it's not. So this is, we're filming this and doing all this work on the day after we've come back from Florida. And if you didn't know, we drove to Florida with 3 children, 3 dogs, a small U-Haul on the back. And then because we drove there, we also drove back with all that same stuff plus more in the U-Haul. And now I prepped him on the ride home that I wasn't going to be able to contain myself and wait to put stuff up in my craft room, and that is what's happened. So I'm making him do this when we got home last night at like 10:30, in bed around midnight.
See the sunrise.
Oh yes, yes. Saturday, yeah. We left Florida on Saturday.
Go out to see the sunrise at the beach.
On that day.
Drove home that
Okay,
night.
wait. We even have to back it up. a little further than that. We did not sleep well the night before. So Friday night into Saturday, neither of us slept well. Saturday morning, we got up to see the sunrise.
Spent all day in Florida.
Spent all day in Florida because we were trying to time a stop in Maryland appropriately to see some family there and not show up at like 2 in the morning.
All night, all day.
So we drove all night, stopped in Maryland from like 8 to, or 9-ish to 11 a.m. Quick visit, but worth it. And then we got back on the road and drove the rest of the way home to Maine. Got home
11.
Got home at like, it was like 10:30, 10:35-ish when we got home.
Had to unpack a couple things.
Unpack a couple things so we could shower, go to bed and whatnot. Got the kids to bed. We were both, he was in bed probably 11:30. I was a little bit after him. And then we had to get up this morning because we had someone coming to the house at 9 and we needed to be up and functioning for that person. It's not like anyone we know, they were doing something here at the house. So we've had a very full schedule. And so after all that, and this guy doesn't sleep well in the car, so he did next to no sleeping. So after all that, I was like, hey, let's do this big old project and come put up all my craft stuff for me. But he did. He did it, and he didn't complain a single time. He's the MVP right there. We're about to celebrate our 13th wedding anniversary, and
Happy anniversary.
this is partly why, because he's so tolerant of my crazy antics at times. Happy anniversary. This is where we have landed so far, and my heart is very pleased. I've just put a few things on shelves where they may stay, may not stay. Ultimately, I'm going to save the actual taking things out of where they have been and then putting them where they're going to go piece for later, because we need to go pick up a grocery order. At this point, we have little to no food in the house because we've just been on vacation. So we're gonna go do that, but I think this will be coming out later. I think this one's going to be used for all of my vlogging equipment that I'm not using constantly. I have a bag for the devices themselves that I use quite a bit, but inevitably there's like charging docks and all that sort of stuff. So it'd be nice to have that all in one place. And then I think the gray ones will remain for craft items. I think this shelf will stay in here because as much as I love symmetry, I know it's not logical to have absolutely everything symmetrical on each side of this room. This amount of symmetry that I have with the shelving is already so beautiful and enough to keep me quite happy. So I'm in love to sum things up, very in love, and very much looking forward to organizing all this jazz and getting it into this space. So how do you feel knowing you've made your wife's day, week, month?
Fantastic. I'm thrilled.
I'm very thankful for your hard work in this space.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate you.
You are welcome.
Look at this little vintage sewing machine box. I'm so glad she can be out now. I don't think I'll use it for sewing supplies. I do have a sewing machine up there and I do know how to sew and I do sew at times, but it is not currently my primary desire when it comes to crafting and being creative. So anyway, I could go on and talk about this space for the foreseeable future. So I need to just end this video here for now, pick back up later when I have another moment to do some organizing, but oh my gosh. I am so happy and satisfied and excited about this space. magical things do happen sometimes, and that's about where I am at today. It's just been magical. I'm at Target. We need to get a grocery order anyway, so Brandon actually went over to pick that up and I came into Target. That way we could kind of get two things done at once. But anyway, not really the point of the story. On the craft room train, I found some of these, which this open front style is what I have currently. They're just about twice as deep, and I really was looking for more of those. They don't have them, but they do have these, and they are $1.50 for 3 of them. So these are the last sets they have in gray, so I'm going to take them. These buckets are also by Brightline, and they're a pretty good size, and I could just see them being helpful for some of my larger crafting items, and I think they would fit nicely on this shelf, which I already have, but wait, I'll get there in a minute. So 2 of these, it says that they're down to $9.35, but when I scanned them, it actually said $7 and change. So because it was a better discount than the $9.35, which was less than 2 off, I decided I would get them. So I'm getting 4 of these, and then this was just absolute pure luck. I was not at all looking for this. I kind of briefly had this thought of looking for another one of these to match the one that I already have in my craft room, because you guys know at this point that symmetry brings me such joy. But it was kind of just like a, well, yeah, I probably won't actually do it sort of situation. Stumbled upon this on an end cap, a clearance end cap. It is the exact same one that I already have, color, size, all of it, and it is marked down from $75, are you ready, to $37. So it's going home, and we're gonna bring our symmetry dreams to the next level. I cannot even believe, but every single thing I have in this cart is, well, 1 for the craft room, but 2 on clearance, like a really good clearance too. It's just luck that this is working out, but I'm real pleased about it. It is a new day. Updates are going on. Brandon hung this pegboard in here for me. I'm feeling like this is pretty fantastic, and I'm excited to get my jewelry hung on it and organized. So this bucket is just housing like my most commonly used jewelry, so it'll be nice to have a more designated place for that. And let's go down to the craft room so we can get an update there. The pegboard really was not needed in here because, as I've mentioned, symmetry is really something that I feel extra passionate about right now. So there just wasn't going to be a place for that other pegboard. It's a different size than these 2, and there wouldn't have been space for it underneath anyway. So worked out perfect to put it in my closet instead. But here's the amazing symmetry we have going on. I spent some time in here off camera last night just getting some things done. I organized my tech cart. This has like all my camera gear. My label maker is dead, so I need to charge the batteries for that, and then I am going to label each of the buckets. So that will be very enjoyable for my organization loving heart. And then got some things into either temporary or permanent places. It's just going to depend. I'm sure as I live in this space and I work on projects, I'm going to find ways that I want to change things around, and that's perfectly fine. But for now, I've organized a couple of things. I want to put some labels on the front of these too, even though it's very easy to see into them. It will just make it that much easier to quickly look and find the items that I'm looking for. It will also make it easier for others to find items in here. I have all of these left that need to be organized and sorted and that sort of thing. So it is a work in progress, and I am having a lot of fun figuring it out. I'm glad that I am pacing myself and taking time over a couple of days so that I'm reducing those overwhelmed feelings and just focusing on making choices that I feel good about. So that's the update for now, and now I'm just going to spend a little bit of time in here. Also, when Brandon was putting these shelves in for me in this space, he had asked me if I wanted them to go all the way over to the wall, and I said no, not for any super particular reason, but because I did want to make sure that the space didn't feel like it was absolutely packed from wall to wall with items. So I felt like giving a couple of inches there would help things to just feel a little more open and intentional, not like just packed. So made that choice, and now I have discovered an additional bonus to having made that choice is that this little tiny crevice is a perfect place to put my tripod so that I no longer have to break them down. It truly doesn't take a super long time to break them down and put them away and then take them out and set them back up, but it's just really nice when I don't have to do that and I can quickly grab a tripod and it's just ready to go. So I'm thankful that that's a little storage nook that I now have. And also I ended up utilizing a couple of the hooks here that I had actually had going along with these bars, and I put them on this tech cart and am storing my lenses from it. I really like this brand. It's the JJC brand for lens cases. They have a longer strap that comes with them too. I'll talk about them more in another video. I'm planning a like tech gear that I use video, but really like that brand, and they hang very nicely right there. So that is how I'm utilizing that space and some of the hooks from these bars, because I have quite a few hooks that are not currently in use, and I'm really not even sure that I would have space on these bars to use every single hook. I'd rather have too many than not enough, so that is not a problem to me. It just means I can do things like this and use the hooks in other places as well. Thank you so much for joining me today as we set up my craft room space. I hope you have enjoyed this tour so far, but be sure to stay tuned for part 2, where I take you on the completed tour and share all of the items and how I have organized them. Again, thank you so much for being here. I can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye!